To become a successful trader, you need to remove all emotions from your trading. You need to trade like you're a machine, right? You need to practice mechanical trading. But the problem is we're not machines. We're human beings. And as human beings, naturally, we're emotional creatures. Our emotions sometimes creep into our trading, and that gets us in trouble. And the most dangerous of these emotions is greed. And the inspiration for today's video is I'm trading this morning, and I found greed creeping in. I faced a situation this morning with one of my positions, one of my option positions, where I was up a ton of money on the trade, and for whatever reason I didn't want to get out of the position because I wanted to make even more money. And I'm talking about I was up 6x on the position. I had made 6 times the amount of money I put into that trade, and I still wanted more, which is insane when you really think about it. Let me show you this position. Let me switch over to my desktop here. So the position I'm talking about is this position in NEE. This is Next Era Energy, and I bought a bunch of really cheap out of the money calls a couple of months ago in NEE because it had a massive drop in stock price. This is actually September and October of last year, where the stock price went down basically 50% in a very short amount of time. And actually, I thought this was a really overreaction to some bad news. I think Next Era Energy, that they pay a dividend on their stock, pretty decent dividend. I don't own shares of the stock, but I know that's why a lot of people do own this company for, long-term portfolios, and they decided, I think, to cut their dividend, not completely out, but lower the dividend a little bit or whatever. Some news event happened that I thought was an overreaction, and it's kind of come back, right? It's kind of found a bottom, and back in April I went ahead and bought 12 really cheap calls, like really out of the money calls, like 30 cents a piece. I bought 12 of them. 12 times 30 cents. I paid $360 for these really far out of the money calls, I think at the 85 strike. We'll check it here in a second. And so what happened to my calls? Well, they are now worth almost $2 a piece, these 30-cent calls, and I've got 12 of them, right? Because since I bought them, what has NEE done? Well, it's done nothing but go straight up, and it's really gone up very quickly here in about 2 months. I've been holding on to these calls. I bought these calls, and they were like 160 DTE. They're more like leap options. These were long-term plays, but I've been holding them only 53 days now. And again, these were, when I bought them, 30 cents a piece. Now they're trading. The markets are open, and this is fluctuating a lot right now today because NEE is really moving around. They're worth 184 a piece. And again, I've got 12 contracts, and you can see if I close the position right now at this second, I've made 522% on my initial investment on the debit I paid for those calls. So I've 6x'd my money. I've made more than 6 times my money if I close the position now, and it's been up as much as 7x, more than 600% today. So depending on when I close these, if I decide to close these things today, I've made 6 to 7 times my money. And, I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, yeah, that's nice. But, I think I could make 10x on my money, or 20x, or potentially 100x. Like, these kinds of thoughts were creeping into my mind. And these are not crazy kinds of thoughts, because the idea of making 20x on my money, that wouldn't be like I would only need this thing probably to go up another 5 or 10 points, right? to make 100 times my money on those really cheap 30-cent calls. That seems crazy. 100 times my money, I probably need NEE to go up, 30 points from where it's at now. I probably need it to trade a little above 100, 105. Is that crazy? No, it's not a 0% chance. The thing with trading is nothing's ever a 0% chance. No matter how crazy a scenario, whether it's positive for you or negative for you, never think that anything can't happen. Nothing is ever a 0% chance. So there is some credence to thinking I could just hold on to this thing and make 10x my money, 20x, or even 100x. But is that the right way to think as a trader? Are you ever going to be a successful trader if you hold on to these winning positions, because if I hold on to this thing, there's a serious chance that I won't get any of my money. In fact, I'm just going to lose my initial investment of 360 plus all of the gains I have, because this thing, even right now, only has a 31% pop probability of profit, meaning 69% of the time, if I hold this thing to expiration, I'm going to lose everything that I've already gained on this position. So, you know, it's weird, because if I asked you, and if you asked me, not about a particular position, but you just say, hey, you put on an options position and one day you wake up and you have 6x'd your money, would you close it? Absolutely, 100% of the time, right? You wouldn't even have to think about it until you're actually in that position, and then all of a sudden things change. What seems like an obvious choice, just close that position, take that nearly $2,000 of money that I made on a $300 bet, and just get out of the position. But no, I even right now, I'm making this video, I still haven't closed that position. And I know from experience that this kind of thinking is detrimental to a trading account, to my trading account, to your trading account, because it's not necessarily the plays that go against you. It's not those losses that go against you. It's the wins sometimes that we just refuse to take. Like, this thing is just hitting me over the head. Hey, here's some money. You know, you took a long shot. It was basically a lottery ticket kind of play, a YOLO kind of play. Hey, and you won, right? You hit it, right? You got 777s. Why don't you take the win? I'm not ready to do it. I don't know why. It kind of reminds me of some of those crazy stories that I've read in past years on Wall Street bets. I remember one guy who took like 35K. He took $35,000 of his own money, and he started doing really long shot out of the money calls and out of the money puts, a bunch of them. And he turned 35K into $5 million. Now think about that. $35,000 into $5 million. That's more than 100 times his money. That's like 120, 130x on his money. And you know what he did? He didn't cash out that money. He didn't quit taking all of those YOLO trades. He kept buying long calls and long puts really far out of the money, lottery ticket kind of plays, because he thought he'd turn that 5 million into 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. You know what he did? He pretty much lost it all. He gave it all back. He took 35K, turned it into 5 million, more than 100 times his money, right? He won, and it still wasn't enough. Think about that kind of greed, right? And you think, when you look at it as a third-party observer, when somebody else is doing it, you're thinking, wow, what an idiot. And until you're in that position, and again, I found myself not in the same kind of position, but still, like, if I'm making 6x on my money, why haven't I closed that trade yet? And you know what? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I haven't decided. I haven't decided if I only put $360 into this trade too. Here's another weird way to think about this. It was a cheap kind of trade, right? These really trashy, out of the money long calls. It's not like I put any money into it, but that's the wrong way to think about it too. I'm thinking about the 360 I put into it. Well, should you think about right this second the $1,800 that it is actually being credited to my account because I'm up on the position? So it's not like it's just $360. If I'm actually winning on the position, I'm really right now I'm risking $1,800, not $360. But again, that's not the way we think about these things a lot of the times. And I'm making today's video to point out, you know, really dumb things that we all do in our trading, including me. You know, I've made so many options trades over the years, and I've been good at recognizing when I'm doing something really reckless like I'm doing today. And I wanted to actually document this on camera, because this is probably not something that a lot of traders would do. A lot of traders are not going to, especially the gurus on YouTube, they're not going to document something that is kind of reckless and kind of foolish with their money, but I don't mind doing that. Matter of fact, am I going to actually close this position or not? You know what? Let me know in the comments down below. Why don't we do a prediction? You guys let me know. Do you think I'm actually going to do the responsible thing and close this trade right now? Or do you think I'll leave it on and just let it ride? We'll see. Peace, guys.